Picture this. You wake up tomorrow, kick off the blanket, and float 3 feet above the bed. You can fly, not jump high, actual, genuine, hovering over your own pillow flight. You'd probably be dead by lunch. Here's the thing nobody tells you about superpowers. Every single one of them comes with fine print, and the fine print is written by physics and biology, two things that do not care even a little about your power fantasy. So today we're going to do something cruel. We're going to take every power you've ever wished for and ruin it, one by one. Stay till the end because the last one doesn't break your body, it breaks something worse. Let's start with the classic, invisibility. Sneak anywhere, hear anything, never be seen. Except you'd be completely blind. Stay with me. You can see right now because the cells at the back of your eyes absorb light. That's all vision is, catching photons and turning them into signals your brain reads. But to be invisible, light has to pass straight through you, including straight through your retinas. Light that passes through can't be absorbed, and light that isn't absorbed can't be seen. So a truly invisible person opens their eyes to total darkness forever. And honestly, blindness is the good news. Your clothes aren't invisible, so you're either fully naked in public or a creepy floating outfit. And the sandwich you just ate? Also visible, sloshing around in a stomach nobody can see, slowly being digested in midair for everyone to watch. So you're a blind, naked person publicly displaying a half-dissolved lunch. Real smooth, real sneaky. Okay, back to flying because we left you hovering over your bed. The problem isn't getting up, it's everything that happens next. Go up just a few thousand feet and the air gets thin and the temperature drops fast. Around the height passenger jets cruise, it's roughly minus 50 degrees and there's nowhere near enough oxygen to stay conscious. So your dramatic flight ends with you passing out, freezing, and falling out of the sky like a very surprised rock. And down low, where the air is breathable, you're a soft, slow human body moving through open space. Every insect becomes a tiny slap to the face. Every bird is a genuine threat. There's no windshield. There's no seatbelt. There's just you, the wind, and the dawning realization that humans are the single worst-shaped animal for flying. A bird is basically a giant flight muscle with a beak stuck on. You're mostly legs and opinions. We were built to stand around and argue, not soar. Fine, forget flying. You want raw power? You want to lift a car over your head. Newton would like a word. Let's say your muscles get upgraded to car lifting strength. Great, but your bones didn't get the memo. Neither did your tendons, your joints, or the ground under your feet. So when you heave 1,500 kilos into the air, that same force pushes down, and your leg bones punch straight through the pavement, or your arm shatters because your skeleton gives out long before your shiny new muscle does. You'd basically tear yourself apart from the inside. Punch a wall? The wall hits back with exactly the same force, into your completely normal, unupgraded knuckles. And then there's daily life, which becomes a horror movie. Doorknobs snap off in your hand. A friendly handshake crushes someone's fingers. You go to hug a person you love, and let's not finish that sentence. Super strength without a super skeleton isn't a power. It's the fastest way ever invented to disassemble your own body. So you go the other way. Speed. You want to run like the Flash, zip across the city in a blur. You'd be a fireball. When you move fast through air, friction heats you up. That's literally why meteors glow. They're not on fire from space, they're burning from shoving air out of the way. Run fast enough and you'd cook yourself the same way. And to even fuel that run, you'd have to eat tens of thousands of calories. You'd basically have to eat constantly, forever, just to jog to the store. It gets dumber. At those speeds, a tiny speck of dust hits you like a bullet. Turning a corner yanks your organs sideways hard enough to turn them to soup. There isn't enough grip in the universe for your shoes, so you'd mostly just spin in place and set the floor on fire. And the sonic boom you'd drag behind you would blow out the eardrums of every single person you were trying to rescue. Don't worry, I saved you. I can't hear you! Quick one. Laser eyes. Heat vision. Stare at something and it bursts into flame. With what energy? You can't get fire out of nowhere. Energy has to come from somewhere. To fire a beam hot enough to melt steel, your body would need to generate an absurd amount of power, and all of it is leaving through two soft, wet, defenseless eyeballs. Long before you melt the bad guy, you'd be boiling your own eyes in their sockets. The villain's fine. You're cooking yourself from the front of your face. Now this one sounds unbeatable. Freeze time. Walk around a frozen world untouchable. In reality, you'd go blind, deaf, and suffocate instantly. Think about it. To see, light has to travel from things into your eyes. But if time is stopped, light isn't moving. Nothing reaches you. So the second you freeze time, the world goes pitch black. To hear anything, sound has to move through air, also frozen. frozen. Total silence. And the air itself? It's now a wall of perfectly still molecules. You can't walk through it any more than you can walk through a brick. You can't pull it into your lungs. So congratulations, you've frozen the universe, including the air in your chest. And now you're standing there blind, deaf, and unable to take a single step or a single breath. Tick, tick. Let's do growing and shrinking together because they're both murdered by the same villain, the square cube law, the most undefeated boss in all of physics. Here's the idea. When you scale up, your volume and your weight grows way faster than your bones can keep up with. So grow into a 50-foot giant and you don't get to stomp around the city. Your own legs snap under your weight like an elephant trying to balance on a flamingo. Your heart can't pump blood all the way up to your brain. And you'd overheat because a giant body makes heat everywhere inside, but can only dump it out through the skin, and there isn't enough skin. Shrink down to ant size and it's the opposite nightmare. You lose body heat almost instantly, so you freeze. Your lungs are suddenly too tiny to grab enough oxygen. And if you shrank really far, down toward microscopic, light itself stops cooperating because you'd be getting close to the size of the very waves you use to see with. Big or small, the universe has the same message. You are exactly the right size, and it would very much like you to stay that way. One more before the big one, teleportation. Blink across the planet. Two problems, one of them disturbing. The disturbing one, how does it work? If teleporting means your body is scanned, taken apart here, and a perfect copy is built over there, then you died every single time. A copy with your memories walks away thinking everything's fine, and the original you is gone. You'd be committing a tiny suicide on every trip and never knowing it. And the physics one, the Earth is spinning and racing around the sun at enormous speed. If you teleport somewhere without perfectly matching all that motion, you'd reappear moving the wrong way at hundreds of miles an hour. Beam Me Up ends with a splat. So far, it's all been physics breaking your body. Here's the one that breaks something else. Immortality. No aging, no disease, no death. The ultimate prize, right? Until you read the part they never put in the comic. You don't stop the world from ending. You just don't get to leave it. Everyone you've ever loved gets old and dies, while you don't. Then their children. Then everyone who ever even remembered them. You slowly turn into a walking museum of dead people, repeating the same goodbye forever, getting better and better at the one thing you'd give anything to stop doing. And here's the cruel twist. A body that can't die can still be hurt. Fall down a well, get buried, drift to the bottom of the ocean, and now there's no mercy waiting at the end. You just stay conscious forever. Immortality isn't more life. It's never, ever being allowed to put it down. And maybe that's the whole point. Every single superpower we dream up is really just us trying to escape the body we already have. But that ordinary, fragile, breaks if you lift a car body, it is tuned with insane, invisible precision to do the one thing none of these powers can pull off. Keep you alive, comfortable, and sane all day long without you ever once thinking about it. You're already running the most overpowered system on the planet. It just doesn't feel like much from the inside. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up and you can't fly, that might be the superpower. You just don't have to be dead by lunch.